And welcome into the Chatting Average on KCOU 88.1 FM, the student voice of the Missouri Tigers. The Chatting Average on KCOU for the second to last time. How are we feeling about that, gentlemen?
You know, on one hand, I'm kind of glad we have a stable mic quality.
Yes.
If not, just that tiny little whine. Shout out the rack. But
shout out the wreck too.
Shout out the wreck. Shout out the wreck. Shout out the wreck cat. Give her back. Someone took it. Someone took the wreck cat.
That's bad.
Give the cat back.
Give the cat back.
Give the cat back.
If you're listening on your phone, your radio dial, and you're in the Columbia area, and you took the wreck cat,
come on,
give her back.
Give her back.
And then send Adam your favorite meme.
And then send Adam your favorite meme. And then, hey, Adam's mom, send Adam your favorite meme.
Hi, Mom.
Well, Adam's a little busy.
A four-star wide receiver just flipped his commitment to Missouri 3 minutes ago.
Merry Flipmas.
So we're
this is going to be a very busy week for me. I'm multitasking, but I promise I'm focusing on the show first and foremost. This is my one true love is this radio program.
I'm sorry about that.
I'm sorry. I laughed before a joke was told. That's poor. That's poor content by me. I've made a severe continuous lapse in my judgment.
You will pay harshly for this.
Anyway,
you guys aren't going to believe this if you're listening and you're a loyal listener. We're still in the off season.
Yeah, that's true.
The shortest, longest off season in sports. It is very short because you go maybe like 3
Mr. November
months. But then it's such a long off season because it's so quiet for like a month, and then everything happens in like a span of like a week, and then it gets quiet again till spring training.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to winter meetings yet, so we're in this weird situation where the third highest thing that we're going to talk about today is Joey Meneses signing to the Mets
on a minor league deal.
Yeah, it has been
a league deal.
I'll say this: we do have one big piece of baseball news. I think there were, what would you say, 4, maybe 5 guys that you would call superstars that are free agents this year, and one of them is now off the board.
I mean, yeah,
and I think that's a big deal to talk about.
Tommy
There's
Edman?
not a lot to talk about outside of that. No, it's not Tommy Edman. It's his teammate, his new teammate,
Frankie Montas.
No, Frankie Montas did not sign with the Mets.
Darn it.
He did.
Or with the Dodgers, I should say. He signed with the Mets.
The
You know who
Dodgers?
signed with the Dodgers.
Wait, you mean the Klarna Dodgers?
Yes. I
The
did see
deferred
that.
payments Dodgers?
The deferred payment Dodgers. Who did they sign, Mr. Lieber?
I'm trying to rack my brain. No. I'm trying to rack my brain for some minor league deal that I saw, but they signed Blake Snell.
They signed Blake Snell.
Sources.
The chatting average is learned.
Yeah, the chatting average actually kind of had, we had a suspicion about this, but the Dodgers, they defer. Me when I look at a tree.
Me at the beginning of a football game when I win the coin toss.
Blake Snell comes into this rotation that is, the Dodgers feasibly have 3 different rotations.
You know what really sucks about the Dodgers rotation?
What?
It's most teams have a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. And then the Dodgers are just hey, we have all this money, so we signed a 1A, a 1B, a 1C, a 1D, and a 1E.
And there's
and Roki Sasaki might sign.
And they're still favored to get Roki Sasaki. They can't start this many players. There's no room.
Yeah, it gets interesting because you get back a lot of guys too. Dustin May is gonna play next season.
In theory. Tony Gonsolin as well.
Tony Gonsolin, I'd assume, welcome back to the bullpen.
Clayton Kershaw is going to get buried in a Dodgers uniform.
Clayton Kershaw is probably going to get injured in the first game he pitches.
Yeah.
So
realistically, though, how many years do we think that Kershaw has left? That arm is
the next one.
Miles.
The next one. This one.
Just this coming
It might be this season, yeah.
He might even go out in spring training and then go full Andrew Luck and be I just don't think I got it in me, guys.
Shout out Andrew Luck, general manager of a college football team.
Yeah, that was big breaking news. Shout out Captain Andrew Luck, the Twitter account.
Yeah. Glad that thing's back.
Shout out Captain John Sansoni. It's not this one. He just saluted while sitting down.
Oh. That's not good.
Well, that's why I'm not a captain. Let's talk.
I want to talk about Blake Snell for just
Fine. We'll talk
for just
about
a minute
good
now.
things.
But Blake Snell goes from the Giants to the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
This is now his third National League West team. He's been on all three of the California teams and the Padres, Giants, Dodgers. That's disgusting. Ugh. These are three teams that absolutely hate each other. And I understand free agency, and I understand going where the bag's the biggest, and whatever. Those are teams that you don't go back and forth between.
Yeah, but if you're Blake,
you can't do that, man.
But if you're Blake Snell, he wanted money.
He's chasing money, and that's the only thing he's chasing.
And he got
to
money.
me, that is ridiculous.
We might talk about this later about the priorities of your own hypothetical free agency.
Yeah.
But I get it. I get you're going for the money, but at some point you're burning every bridge.
He doesn't care.
True.
He's not burning any bridge. If this was a 2-year deal and he wanted to turn around and sign with the Giants in 2 years, he'd go, hey, I've got a high walk rate, but I strike out the most people in the league, and I get better after every single game. I have not gotten worse in the second half of the season 1 year in my career. If you're going to make the playoffs, you want me on your team. And the Giants are going to go, here's a blank check.
See, I agree with everything there except for the team. I think he'll go to the Diamondbacks and then the Rockies, and then it will
He's not going to the Rockies.
He'll go to the Rockies for one of his twilight years to prove that actually you can pitch in Colorado. Everybody else are just wusses. And then he'll have an 11.3 ERA and be cut after four starts.
That's right. A 5.25 ERA. You've got like a 75 ERA plus, and he's got $18 million on the books. And somehow Chris Bryant is still being paid.
Yeah.
And Bobby Bonilla is also being paid now by the Rockies at that point too. Don't know why. Apparently they traded for that.
Future Rockies are
bad with money, just like
money.
the current
Rockies.
And I don't think he's going to Arizona and the Rockies. I think if he goes anywhere else, it'll be the Angels. He very obviously likes California.
True.
Yeah, apparently.
But I don't know. I mean,
he's just a big coast guy in general between there and Florida.
Yeah, true.
True.
Just coasting along.
Just like he does every, April, May, and June.
Yeah, okay, but I get that, and I agree. He does coast April, May, and June. He's never been very good he's never been top tier in the first half of the season.
Yeah, because he decides he doesn't want to be. He's spring training is for losers, and I'm not going to do it. And then he's bad
I'm
when
not
the
gonna
season
pitch
starts.
well.
Exactly.
You mean last year?
Every year.
He's pitched in pretty much every spring training.
I don't want to do spring training anymore.
He didn't pitch in last year's spring training because Scott Boras was like, what if I told all of my players not to sign anywhere yet? Then it screwed over all of his players.
How much do you think his new agency had to say in how early he signed in the offseason?
I think
it was very
little.
important.
I think it was Blake that decided. I think it has little to do with the agency.
But you think the situation last year kind of burned
soured
him
yes.
to waiting
yes,
so
I
long?
for sure. So.
Okay.
But also, I think he knew where he wanted to be.
Yeah, the team that was going to win.
Yeah,
because he's never won in his entire career.
I don't blame him.
It's true.
Especially, what's he, 31?
I can get you an answer on that.
All right, somebody's going to get me an answer on that.
He is 6'4". That's not what.
That's
not what
31.
Bang.
He will be 32 in 2 days. Happy early birthday,
Blake Snell. We'll post on our Twitter that you could probably find, or on X, the Everything app.
Yes. I'm a big fan of X, the Everything app.
It's so funny that's the actual trying to be the branding of the website, and no one can take it seriously.
My favorite thing is that posts on X, the Everything app are called Zeets. I think that is so funny.
What a masterful zeet, sir.
Did you guys
repost it?
Speaking of
Zeets,
formerly Twitter, did you guys see the gentleman who replied to my tweets on Saturday night?
Yes.
No.
I did. I saw this.
I can show you a picture of it, John. But I was.
Did you delete them or?
No.
Okay, then I'll just find them.
The picture's on my burner.
No.
There was a gentleman who was. Or excuse me, I guess I should start with, was being very critical of the Missouri Waltz effort on Saturday night. It was minimal effort, very disjointed, among the worst Missouri waltzes I have ever seen in my entire life.
Which is very hard to do since they're all pretty boring and
no,
not
I
great.
think a good Missouri waltz is really good. It's one of the most electric things in sports. But there was a gentleman who took exception to me saying that the effort was really bad, and I thought it was a rather fun interaction.
I just read it.
Yeah, it's, the Missouri Waltz, is it more or less exciting than like the Kentucky Derby?
It's more
interactive.
I disagree.
Much more interactive.
The Kentucky Derby is the most exciting whatever seconds in sports.
I disagree.
Look, I'm not as big of a fan of horse racing as some people are, but
Friend of the program.
We're not going to get into that one.
Former guest on this show.
But there comes a time when it's like, all right, they're running in a circle, and the one that you
It's an oval. It's oblong, John.
Okay, all right.
Oh, whoa!
But it's never the one that you pick that's going to win. Never.
Well, then you're a bad horse watcher.
Personally, I would just pick the horse that wins.
Yeah, same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would.
Right. Yeah.
You should try that. I
The
think it'll
problem
help you a little
is
bit.
I write in Seabiscuit every time.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Well, that is your
on
problem.
the ticket, I just put Seabiscuit
I
because
don't
he's
think
the one
you
that
can do
wins.
that. What ticket?
What do you
I had
mean, what
a,
ticket?
the speeding ticket that
Yeah.
you got from the police officer. I had a friend in high school that we all called Seabiscuit.
Was his name like Sebastian? Or
No, it's just because he looks like a horse.
Okay. I had a friend in one of my baseball teams. We called him Seabass because his name was Sebastian.
See, that's where I was going with
See,
this.
that's less cool than mine.
The Seabiscuit.
I always wondered if he didn't like being called Seabass.
You probably should have asked him.
Well, anyways,
You want to talk about the rest of these transactions?
Yeah, we can.
So
the Angels sign You Say, I Say Kikuchi.
You say Kikuchi, I say congratulations to the Angels
yeah,
for getting I would say a mid-tier starter.
the Angels.
He was
been,
very good
yeah.
on my fantasy team this year.
The
I
Angels-
believe
he
it.
was good in Houston.
Yes,
That back
he was good
half.
on the Blue Jays too this year. He had a really good year last
He
year.
had
I think.
he had a good year, but I think his body of work before that overrides at least a little bit. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I'd say so. Also, it's like at the end of the day, the Astros gave up a lot for half a season.
Correct.
Of Yusei Kikuchi, and they didn't get that far in the playoffs.
Well, that makes
for
sense. It is the Astros.
But
The Astros, whose window is officially
the
closed.
Angels have been very active.
Oh, yay. Let's talk about how the Angels are definitely going to still lose 100 games next
I
year.
mean, sure.
No, but you're right, John. They've been hopping on a lot of very early free agent signings, and I
Yeah.
think that's exactly what they need to do. They need to strike before the market gets hot.
Yeah, Yusei Kikuchi, Kyle Hendricks. They
signed
picked up-
Kyle Hendricks?
Yeah, they picked up Travis
I can't-
Arnaud. They
I
traded
can't-
for Jorge Soler.
I can't believe that Kyle Hendricks' career is going to end in Los Angeles.
No, they'll trade him back to the Cubs at the deadline.
And then the Cubs will make their playoff push and then miss out by 7 games.
Yeah.
Pointing out Yusei Kikuchi, ERA plus in Toronto last season, 85 through 115 innings. In
Which is
60
not
innings. In Houston, 147.
That's much better.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
pitching lab goes burr.
Burr, which is so fun to see that he's going to be in the same pitching lab that produced. Okay,
Griffin
next person.
Canning.
Yeah, exactly.
On the 29th, the Dodgers re-signed Tommy Edman. They deferred payment.
Imagine
obviously.
that.
The
There's gotta
Klarna
be-
Dodgers.
listen, at some point, Manfred's got to step in and put a stop to this.
No, because every team can do it.
But not every team is being bankrolled by like half of Japan's GDP.
Congrats. However, it does not matter. The Dodgers, the current ownership team, the second they get to this session of, oh man, we have to start paying Shohei Ohtani
they're
$50
gonna
million
sell the
a
team.
year, we're going to go, it was fun while it lasted, wasn't it?
The Guggenheim Corporation is selling the Los Angeles Dodgers.
And then they're going to be owned by Klarna.
Somehow also Steve Cohen.
What if my two teams met in the NLCS?
No. He already owns the Mets.
I know.
But you said they met. He already has them.
We'll be right back.
This morning, today, this morning, today. The
This
Cubs,
morning today is a good name for this show.
Is that not a segment on the Today Show? This morning, today.
Probably today, this morning. Is that legal trouble? Are we legal trouble for that?
No.
I don't.
We
think
should rename Como Coffee to This Morning Today. Thoughts on that?
You know, let's pitch it to friend of the program, Billy Jones.
Let's do.
Billy
Two
Jones.
signings today.
Wow.
Actually, one was last night.
Okay, so you're lying to me.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
Whatever.
You say Kikuchi
Do we
want to
do the one yesterday first?
Let's do the one yesterday first.
Okay, let's do the one yesterday.
Okay,
first.
Frankie Montas signs with the Mets.
I'm not surprised by this. I feel like he's
yeah,
their Sean Manaea replacement and a guy that came in with lower expectations but is going to surprisingly perform.
Former teammate of Sean Manaea as well.
I think that might be why that thread was there, because I just think of them both
On
as
the
athletics.
A's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out
That A's team had a really good pitching staff and were nowhere near the playoffs.
Which A's team?
It was like 2018.
No.
Sean
Just what city were they in?
It's like
Not Sacramento.
Which team? Which team?
Philadelphia.
The Oakland A's.
Philadelphia.
Got it.
Yeah.
The Oakland
I
A's.
thought they were Kansas City at that point.
They were in Kansas City. You're right.
In
Good point,
2018.
Good point.
Look, man, I wasn't doing a lot in 2018.
Yeah, you were like 7.
No, I was in like 7th grade.
Okay, so you're like 8.
Ocho.
I mean, okay. I like the Frankie Montas signing.
I do
feel
too.
Like
I don't mind it.
It doesn't preclude them from signing anyone else because it's a relatively cheap veteran, and you have a guy who, you know, at the very least you can throw out every 5 days and be, you know, that back of the rotation. You know, in an ideal circumstance, a back of rotation starter. And then, you know, if he somehow does perform, but you know, you don't want to have to throw like a Joey Lucchesi in like super, like, no offense to Joey Lucchesi, but like they had some pretty taxed bullpen at some points.
Yeah.
I
assume
you need the flexibility.
I assume Frankie becomes their 4, their 3.
I would guess
They've got
yeah.
Kodai Senga, David Peterson, and Paul Blackburn currently.
Paul Blackburn might be their 5.
Yeah, true.
He might not even crack the rotation at some point. He might get
He might get long
dealt or-
relievered.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Nobody wants to be long relievered.
Okay, and then finally, unless we have anything else on Frankie Montas,
I don't.
Montas,
Nope.
Matthew Boyd signed with the Cubs about 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, that did happen in the. That happened between me parking my car and me arriving at the studio, so that was nice.
Montas last year with Cleveland in 1 year, a 2.72 ERA through 39.2 innings. Was he injured?
He was injured. He was recovering through the offseason and then signed pretty late and signed with the Guardians, built up throughout the season, and in that little stretch of the season became an anchor of a rotation that was really, really hurting. And we talked about this during the season that the Guardians, they're like as good of a bullpen they had. The issue was getting to the bullpen.
Right.
So having someone like Matthew Boyd, who only, you know, just threw 39 2/3 innings, but in those 8 starts, you know, a 151 ERA plus.
Yeah.
I'd take that any day of the week.
And also, you know, 13.1 innings in Seattle 2 years earlier, and he had a 282 ERA plus. So, like, hey, if you look at sample size and you throw that out the window, the guy's a pretty good pitcher.
Sample size does not matter. You've heard it here first, folks.
I do like this signing, though, by the Cubs. Matthew Boyd will be a solid piece, and you needed somebody to replace the oldest man in the league in Kyle Hendricks. So, welcome back, Matthew Boyd.
Does this affect the Cubs' playoff chances?
No. They actually significantly got the equal amount of good by getting rid of bad Kyle Hendricks and bringing in somewhat okay Matthew Boyd.
But they're also, like, Cody Bellinger is very openly on the trade block.
Correct.
Like, they're trying to get rid of Cody Bellinger.
Correct. They're not going to get anything for him.
No.
Like, they're not going to get, like, something that's going to help them make the playoffs.
But does opening up the space for a first baseman, Matt Mervis possibly, or in center field full time to PCA, does that help the Cubs in getting their young players in now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you get your young players in it, that's the course of action you want to go through. Then, yeah, obviously, getting rid of people who are going to block positions, especially when they're not going to be in your window. If the Cubs' window has changed, which most people think it has, it's not now again. So, I don't think these changes matter. Like Cody Bellinger leaves, okay, cool. PCA may get to play center field full time, and they'll have a first base spot open for whoever. I don't know. They just got rid of Patrick Wisdom though, so
yeah, that is true.
Like,
I mean, I don't know. To a certain degree, they were talking about PCA was supposed to get a full-time role this year, and he just never really seized it. But I mean, at a certain point with your top prospects, you have to force them into an opportunity, and they either sink or swim.
Well, yeah.
There's no point in just letting them float around AAA for a billion years, because that's what happened to Brendan Rodgers, and now look at him.
Right. And I think the issue with PCA is that he just hasn't figured out how to hit the ball consistently.
Yeah.
Michael Bush is still there, I believe.
True, you're
So,
right. Michael
Yeah,
Bush.
he is there.
If they want to put him at first, they like that. He's only 2 years older than Cody, though, so I don't know why you don't just re-sign Cody. But
Michael Bush is a lot cheaper than Cody Bellinger.
True.
obviously,
cheaper.
Isaac Paredes is still there. So, yeah, I mean, like, their oldest player in the field is Dansby Swanson and Ian Happ.
Yeah.
Oh, and Seiya Suzuki. But, like, he's been in the league for, like, 3 years. So, like,
This will be his third year.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't mind it. Actually, I don't know who their catcher is. Miguel Amaya, yeah, younger than 97. So
They probably still need to go out and get a catcher.
I don't know.
The fact that Travis d'Arnaud became available for that short period of time, I would have expected them. Maybe they did put a push in. Maybe some point we'll see one of those beloved articles where it's like, well, the Cubs made a really good offer to Travis d'Arnaud, but he just didn't take it
Because nobody wants to come to Chicago.
Because he liked
Also, historically, for what it's worth, the Cubs have always been a older catcher franchise.
right.
Like
Correct.
before, last year was Jan Gomes. Before that, like they had Wilson Contreras for forever.
And then David Ross.
David Ross before him. They've always liked a veteran presence to kind of, mentor their coaching staff. And it hasn't always worked out for them. Their catchers have never exactly been like top flight players on their roster. But if that's how you like your roster to be organized, then I kind of get it.
Right. They had David Ross only because they wanted John Lester to stay with the team. So they had to figure out the guy who would get him to throw the ball to the bag a little better. But yeah, I don't know. They are. I don't know. I don't like. I don't dislike Miguel Amaya either if he can figure it out. But at the same time,
it's been a while of him trying to figure it out.
The backup right now is Michael Thais.
Yeah. Who they just traded for last week.
So maybe just get somebody.
Yeah.
Because that should be not somebody that you're relying on in case Miguel Amaya can't figure out how to hit the baseball.
You know what they say, if you have 3 catchers, you have 0 catchers.
That's true. You know what else?
They should sign Chucky Robinson.
You know who they should sign? What's Willians Astudillo up to?
I'll get you an answer on that.
What's La Tortuga up to?
I mean, Amaya hit 232 last year in 117 games.
It's an 82 OPS plus, though.
Okay, good point.
It says he's currently a free agent. I think he played overseas last year.
What's your mean Mercedes doing?
I don't. Wasn't he in like AAA with someone last year? Was he with the
I don't think he's playing baseball anymore, to be honest.
No, Astudillo played in.
No.
Last year he played in the Mexican League and then in the Venezuelan League.
If I remember correctly,
he also played in Japan in 2023.
If I remember correctly, Yermin Mercedes.
He played in Mexico last year.
Then he also signed with like the Kansas City Monarchs at one point.
Yeah,
I feel like.
he's been all over the place after Tony La Russa ended his career by yelling at him for hitting a home run.
I do remember that. I remember that.
Interesting how a Hall of Fame coach has such an amazing fall from grace because he doesn't like fun.
Well,
fun is fun. We should probably hit a break.
Shall we?
I think. Are we talking? What would it take for us to sign somewhere? When we come back?
we're gonna talk if we were free agents. What would matter the most to us?
Wow.
We'll talk a little more after the break. You're listening to The Chatting Average on KCOU 88.1 FM. Don't go anywhere.
And welcome back to the Chatting Average on KCOU 88.1 FM, the student voice of the Missouri Tigers. Adam Busak alongside John Lieber, John Sansoni. We talked a little free agency in the top half of the show, in the bottom half of the show. We're going to continue on free agency, but we are going to play the hypothetical game with our own free agencies. And as a matter of fact, we're going to start that right now with Mr. John Lieber. John, I have a scenario for you.
Okay.
And we're going to talk through your own free agency.
Sure.
Mr. Lieber, you are a 27-year-old random number generator catcher.
Ooh.
And you play currently for the American League in the American League Central. There are 5 teams in the American League Central. You play for... Who finished third in the American League Central this year, Mr. Sansoni?
Twins.
Probably
No,
the
the
Twins.
Tigers. The Tigers.
The
The
Tigers.
Tigers. The Tigers.
Mr. Lieber, you are a catcher for the Detroit Tigers. You're 27 years old, and you are hitting free agency unrestricted for the first time. How are we feeling?
When did I make my debut?
What
age?
24.
Okay, so I've been in the league for about 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
And how did I hit?
I will call you a 240 career hitter,
Okay.
but a plus defender.
Okay, so a better defender than a hitter.
You were the backup in Detroit.
Am I a righty?
What kind of catcher is a lefty?
Good point.
Did you mean a lefty bat or a lefty throw?
I meant batting, but
You're right and right.
okay, got it. Because what I'm thinking about is my first 3 years of my career, I hit at Comerica, which I found the gaps probably. That's probably how I hit 240. But I didn't really hit the ball out.
Probably also didn't run very fast.
Well, that was a given.
Yeah.
You're a catcher. I'm just saying.
I enter free agency as an unrestricted backup catcher.
Yes.
The most important thing to me is finding somewhere that I think I have a shot at the starting job. I've been in the league for 3 years. I know I'm good enough. I hit 240, which isn't great, but I am a plus defender.
Yes. You just need a system that appreciates a plus defender.
Correct. Now, of course, I have to think about these other things. I'm a catcher, so I have to go to a pitching rotation that I like. Right?
Correct.
I don't know how this works. Do I just get to pick a team?
Well, like, what would matter most for you, and what team do you think would, like, assume you're coming in right now, like in this current free agency?
Gotcha. So I'm 27 years old now.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, I think most important things are I'm a plus defender, and that's what I need to sell myself on.
Correct.
But I'm also somebody who can hit the ball. You know, maybe I hit 300 in college.
Maybe.
Adam hasn't confirmed or denied.
Yes, you could hit the ball in college.
I hit the ball in college. So I had trouble maybe getting into a groove. So I think that's one of the most important things is that I need to be somebody who's not obviously the everyday catcher because those don't exist, but like most days. I'm the one.
2/3 catcher.
Yeah, I'm the 2/3 catcher. Which now I have to think of who needs a catcher. You know who we just talked about? The Chicago Cubs are on my list right now.
Living in Chicago would not be bad.
Who else is on my list? I'm thinking.
Oh, it's your list.
I know, I'm thinking.
Yeah. I mean, if you need to pull up like catcher rankings or something like that.
Yeah, that might be a good idea, right?
Feel free to do that.
MLB catcher rankings.
Positional power rankings.
Okay.
Baseball.
I clicked the wrong one.
Huh.
Oh, well, that's not good.
Okay. So here's what I'm thinking, right? It's like there's some teams that are obviously off the table that I would rather be at, but I won't be. Colorado's an option. They kind of like Elias Diaz, but they probably won't keep him. I think Minnesota's also an option. Ryan Jeffers can play a different position, or we can share the position.
I forget that he's even still around.
Yeah.
Wait, Elias Diaz he signed? He was with the
Yeah,
Padres.
you're good. You got a good point. So that position's open. Who is catching for you guys at the end of the season?
Drew Romo, I thought.
Drew Romo is.
So that's not open.
And they just re-signed Jacob Stallings as well.
Interesting.
the Marlins threw Christian Bethancourt and Nick Fortes out there last year.
You're right. The Marlins are there. I don't know though. Like I think it's important. Like
you could definitely start in Miami.
I could
as a
start in
240
Miami,
catcher.
but do I want to play in Miami? Miami.
I think you'd have a very good time out there.
I think you're probably right. So I think I'm gonna narrow this down to the Cubs, the Twins, Miami, and Tampa Bay.
Okay. I like
They
that.
started like Pinto for half the year, did they not?
Yeah, they did. That is true.
And friend of the program, Alex Jackson.
Correct, of course, friend of the program.
Friend of the program.
So my thing here is I don't think I'm going to get a lot of money just because I'm not a top tier catcher in the league right now.
Agree.
However, I think I'm going to get the least amount of money from Tampa Bay, and for that reason,
Probably true.
I'm out.
Okay.
I also don't want to play at George M. Steinbrenner Field.
Yeah. Go on.
Or is it H?
I have no idea.
Anyways,
I don't. Who cares?
so now it's down to the Cubs, Minnesota, and the Marlins.
Yes.
Not a bad set. Not a bad set here. I think the best look out of all of those is the Twins. They probably should have won the division last year, and they didn't. Mm-hmm. Is playoff success important to me? Well, I'm 27, and I'm a catcher. How many good years do I have left behind the plate?
I don't know. Those knees are probably hurting.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Minnesota Twins signed 27-year-old catcher John Lieber to a 3-year deal worth $45 million.
Whoa,
40. I thought you said you weren't going to get a lot of money.
If you had said $4 million, it would have been a little,
All right, man.
little more accurate.
Am I going, or who
But
goes now?
you're doing it.
You
for
have
me.
to
All
set
right,
up the
John.
scenario for Mr. Sansoni.
You are a 27-year-old
Oh, that's 7 years from now.
This is true.
first baseman
Okay.
Okay.
I can do that.
who plays in the... I'm sorry, I clicked it twice. National League.
Okay.
In the... Is it generating? National League East.
Oh, we're getting close.
And you played for the person who or the team that finished 4th in that league.
It's probably the Nationals.
It probably was the Nationals.
I think it was the Nationals.
So
yes.
you are Joey Meneses.
Oh my God, I'm doing this.
Congratulations, you're Joey Meneses.
Yay.
You were a solid power hitter.
Right.
You hit about 250, 260. But you hit. You were
got
starting.
sneaky pop.
You were starting for them, okay?
Sneaky pop.
Right.
But you hit 25 home runs last season, okay? You were platooned at the position. You played more than your backup, though. You're an okay defender, but there's a reason you're at first base.
Okay. All right. So here's what I'm looking at. First base is a longevity position. You're not risking too much physically, and older players tend to either stay there or move there. It's 2024 into 2025. At push comes to shove, I can be a DH, but I'm gonna play up the bat in a situation, a situational bat, in the sense that I can. I'll be looking for a park that will help, but also a team that I believe can help me with whatever issues I have. Because assuming it's a first baseman with sneaky pop, there's probably a little swing and miss in my game as well.
For sure.
Am I a lefty, righty, righty, righty? What am I looking at?
Let's make it interesting.
Oh.
You're a switch hitter.
Oh,
that is interesting.
okay. All right. I rock with it. Shout out Josh Bell.
Oh yeah.
Going into that now, I feel like I can be a competent starter. I'm not afraid of the platoon because at the end of the day, if I was playing more, I have that sample size, and I know teams are going to want to look for that. So I can also play if I'm going to be playing with a really young prospect first baseman, or if I'm going to be filling the position full time. I prefer full time, but I'm a nice guy. I can be affable.
He's a chill guy.
I'm just a chill guy. Let's think about it. Going bottom to top, right? The Rockies had whoever they put out there, right? Harris Montero, Michael Toglia.
Yeah, Tolia is the guy.
Toglia.
But Toglia is young, and he's going to have that job.
He's not that young anymore.
but he's the future of the position, at least for a year.
Agree. He's 26.
The Nationals, right, just came from him. I wouldn't be opposed to re-signing, but, at the end of the day, it's either for more money or more time. The Pirates, Rowdy Tellez and Connor Joe are free agents. PNC Park is a very nice place to be.
That is true.
So we'll think about that.
I hear Pittsburgh's very nice this time of year.
I hear the Steel City's very nice this time of year. The Twins, do they re-sign Carlos Santana? The Astros have a very big hole as well at first base. And then going up the list, do I go down to the Marlins? Join friend of the program, John Lieber. You went to the Twins. But I could go to the Twins too. The Twins. Again, do I join you there? Do I go down to Miami? What about the White Sox? I don't want to go there.
Darn it.
Sorry.
I was really hoping for a switch hitting first baseman.
What about the Yankees?
The Yankees.
The Yankees.
They but here's
You and Rizzo?
But here's my issue with the Yankees. I like my beard. That's that.
Yeah,
Beard.
That's fair. Beard.
Yeah, with a D. So narrowing that down, I feel like Miami wouldn't be a bad place to play. I stay in the NL East, right? Stay in some familiar locales. The Twins wouldn't be bad either. Again, that's a winning success. The Marlins.
What if we all joined forces?
I'm just saying.
Are we all going to the Twins?
I think. You know what? I'll take a 2-year deal.
Oh.
Mutual option in the second year with the Minnesota Twins.
Hey, I like where this is going.
Gosh, I hope Adam can pull this together here.
All right.
He's going to get like center field.
Not need.
You're going to get center field or shortstop, and it's just going to be like, oh, darn.
All right. You are a starting pitcher.
Oh, they need those.
Well,
Interesting.
actually, you're just a pitcher right now. I need to decide if you're
He's a starter.
reliever.
Come on.
Yeah, if I'm a reliever, come on, dude.
Yeah,
If I'm a reliever, I can sign wherever I want to sign, frankly.
all right. You're a starting pitcher
Yes.
for the San Francisco Giants.
Oh, no.
Blake Snell, welcome
Actually-
to the
oh,
league.
Wait, actually, the wheel said Boston Red Sox instead.
Okay.
Tanner
it was
Houck,
sitting
welcome
in
to the
between.
league.
All right, so Boston Red Sox, right?
Okay. I like this. I like this scenario better already.
You know,
Close enough. Welcome back, Tanner Houck.
27 years old.
Welcome back, Chris Sale. 27?
Let's say 28. Let's
28.
say 28.
Okay.
So
I've got one career or one contract left, and then I retire.
exactly.
But this contract is 10 years long.
You had a career. You had a career year. It's been about 3 years since the debut. A bit of a late debut, but this was a at least
a true
40,
breakout.
Just a true breakout. At least a 40-point increase ERA plus. Really figured some stuff out.
Where did I finish in Cy Young voting?
You were fifth, but coming from a, let's call it like a 75 ERA plus to like a 130 ERA plus.
Okay.
So you were really just like most improved player. You were the heart and hustle guy.
I was the heart and hustle guy.
You'll say you got heart and hustle. You're looking at a righty, more of a control and break guy than a velo guy. Nasty changeup, and you're looking at 28 righty. Very good break, very good control. Not blowing anyone off the page, but not Kyle Hendricks level of velocity either.
I appreciate what you had to say about the control and break over velocity, because that to me means that more than likely I'm somebody that is going to get a longer contract because my pitching is going to age less poorly, right? It's normally the velocity guys that fall off of a cliff more quickly. And as a starting pitcher that has a career year, I think there's a lot of teams that are really going to try and take waivers on me. You look at teams that are probably playoff bound and want one more pitcher to kind of like put them over the edge. And there's a handful of teams that really come to mind.
Yeah, right. I mean, and you got to also think about the fact that like, your buddies from college, John Sansoni and John Lieber, we all played at Missouri together. They just signed with the Minnesota Twins.
They both just signed with the Minnesota Twins. I will say this though:
the Tigers are back.
Pitching in Boston, right? That's an East Coast guy, right? And it works on the East Coast, so you have to imagine that there's a handful of East Coast teams that are going to try and bring you in. And I think maybe a team that would have a very tempting offer would be the Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, okay.
Like that would be a very good fit, right?
need pitching.
In this hypothetical situation, they need pitching. That's a team that's playoff ready, has a young core, so they can give you a long contract because they plan to be contending for a long time. Minnesota, on the other hand, like I don't think that their core is super young. I don't think they're super primed to be a playoff team. I think you would be seeing a lot more success with a team like Baltimore, for example. Of course, there's always the Giants try and get a starting pitcher every year, and the Rangers try and get a starting pitcher every year. And there's a ton of teams that kind of lack depth. I think maybe an X factor in this situation could either be the Guardians or the Mets. Other teams that think that they could be contending and just need like a steady presence. Even the Red Sox, I think, kind of surprised themselves last year with how good they were. And
you were a big part of that.
Yeah, and would try and re-sign here. For me, if I was a free agent, the number one thing that I would factor, especially at this point in my career where I'm looking at this is probably the last contract I ever sign, where do I want to start my family? Where do I think is a really good place to live? Where would I be the most happy? And unfortunately, I'm not sure that Baltimore is the answer to that.
Ooh.
I like Boston. I like Boston a lot. I like New York a lot too. San Francisco, I could take or leave.
Hang on, there's a last-minute call at the bell.
You know what city I really like?
Hey, Adam. Just to remind you, me and John, we're
city?
kicking it together in Minnesota.
You know what city I really like?
Where do you like?
I really like Minneapolis.
Oh my god!
Yeah! Yes! The Tigers! The fifth floor crew back!
The fifth floor crew. I like it. Can we all share an apartment until we like get established?
We're renting a house together.
Yeah, we're renting like one of the biggest houses in Minnesota. Though.
Oh, absolutely.
I got paid.
I'm gonna get paid more than you. I almost guarantee.
All right. Well,
I am signing a 10-year, $230 million contract with the Minnesota Twins.
That's your backstop right there.
yeah, that's why.
That's true.
That was his
That's
deciding
chemistry.
factor.
That's chemistry.
Why did he get drafted? Because his catcher was the best catcher in the country.
He could hit. He could hit, and then he went pro and could no longer.
And
hit,
he was a
but
plus defender.
He was a plus defender.
Well, I played every day
and a
in
minus
college.
intelligence.
True.
Yeah.
That's true. All right.
Should we get into
Immaculate
the
grid.
grid?
Yeah, we've already got it
10
done.
minutes to kill here.
Great. We've got 7 minutes till the end of the show. We've
nice.
already got it done. So
Okay, we'll start reading it off, and
sure.
I'll tell you if it's a good pick or a bad pick. How about that?
Okay. We have the Immaculate Grid, a 3x3 grid with 9 intersections. You got to, match the things. Column 1, the Dodgers. Column 2, the Cleveland Guardians. Column 3, 300-plus average season. Row 1, the Detroit Tigers. Row 2, the Houston Astros. And row 3, 200-plus hits in a season. John, you and I, do you have this pulled up?
I have some of them pulled
Okay,
up,
what
yes.
if we went back and forth just down the line here?
Okay.
Go ahead. Get us started, yeah.
Oh, all right. For Los Angeles and Detroit, Jake Marisnick.
I like that. Jake the Snake.
For Detroit and Cleveland, we'll go Gio Urshela.
All right. For I didn't realize we were coming back to me.
I don't have the grid in front of me. I was not a
I'm
part
like-
of this.
All right, I could
conversation.
just read it
Yeah,
out.
you might have to
Yeah.
just read it.
Let's
All
do
right,
that.
we're gonna stick here with we're gonna finish the Dodgers row. We're gonna go JD Martinez for the Astros, Dodgers, and then we're gonna hit Adrian Beltre for 200-plus hits in a season with the Dodgers, and then Cleveland, Houston. We have Ben Gamel, and Cleveland 200-plus hits in a season. We have Michael Brantley, and then the 300 average season is where we like to pull out the pitchers.
That is true.
Detroit, we have Justin Verlander. And Houston, we have Zach Greinke. And then 200-plus hits per season and 300-plus average season is Kevin Seitzer? Seitzer? I actually can't read that. Seitzer. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the grid.
You can't read it because you don't have very good sight.
It gave us a score of 13.
Woohoo!
Hardest spot on the grid today was Houston and Cleveland at 36%. The most common answer there was Michael Brantley. We did not use a number one answer. We did use two number one answers in different spots, though, in Zach Greinke and Michael Brantley. Other than that, we've got 5 minutes to rant.
I have a quick free agency update that I'll throw in these last 5 minutes here. Just for the folks paying attention at home who are maybe invested in these free agents that could possibly be going in this next week. And we'll start, of course, with Juan Soto. Soto, allegedly, all of this, of course, allegedly, down to 3 teams. The Mets, the Yankees, the Toronto Blue Jays. Originally, people thought that Boston would be in on him. I think that was a lot of smoke. I don't think that's going to end up being the case. Good chance that Soto signs by the end of the week, and we'll be talking about him for the majority of the show next week. Also, Sean Manaea expected to go later this week as well. Another big name free agent is Willy Adames. The Giants are in on him, but really he's going to end up going to whichever is the highest bidder that doesn't get Juan Soto. A handful of other names to watch as well. Alex Bregman, Detroit and Houston, no surprise there. And Max Fried, this one might be interesting to you, Mr. Sansoni. 3 teams in major players right now for Max Fried. The Boston Red Sox, the Toronto Blue Jays, the New York Yankees.
Not surprised at all.
Not the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, I've kind of made my peace with that. Honestly, I feel like that's not too surprising at this point. But, I'll just stare at a wall or something when he inevitably signs with the Dodgers somehow.
Be
don't
honest.
even put that
be
out
honest.
there,
If you want to stare at the wall with me for 162 games, you can.
Yeah, you can always go to Minnesota with us.
Yeah.
Look,
He is going to
I'd love
Minnesota.
I'd love to stare at a wall with you, but unless Jason Benetti's commentating behind that wall, I'm not listening to John.
Listen, we could put Jason Benetti's Detroit broadcast on while watching the wall.
Ooh, I do like that. I like that. Are we talking about The Wall, the network TV show that LeBron James is the producer of?
No, I was thinking more the wall at the Intuit Dome.
Oh,
what about the wall, like the Pink Floyd album?
The Great Wall of China.
What about John Wall?
Ooh, dude, John? Wow. Oh, I don't have a song ready to pull.
Well, you only have 3 minutes to figure it out.
Who needs to rant? Who needs to rant?
I don't have a rant. Do you have a rant, Mr. Sansoni?
I have so much work. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. Dude, this week is going to be a nightmare for me as well.
I actually just found out today that I have a project due tomorrow. However, good news is that I have to find 2 more photos to add to it, and I'm done. So
what's the project?
It's a photo voice project for my sociology class.
You're in a sociology class?
I am.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Walk
this way.
I have
what
to,
else?
It's what? I've got
It's
2 projects in theater. I've got a project in my J2000 class. I've got a project in my art history class. I'm calling a basketball game tomorrow.
Oh yeah, tune in tomorrow night at
It's like 6:30, I think.
6:30 p.m.
That sounds right.
I'm still between time zones, so I was looking at it. Yeah, I was looking at it 2 days ago, and that was in Eastern time, so I don't remember exactly.
Did everybody have good travel experience?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I
surprisingly
when
good.
I drove back from Indiana on Friday, I expected to hit some good traffic just because, the game the next day and stuff like that, people trying to get back early.
Yeah.
And no traffic whatsoever. So
I had to scrape ice off my car for the first time. That was
Here?
an experience. In the St. Louis airport parking lot.
Oh. When did you fly in?
Sunday.
Oh,
So
you
it was
weren't at the
after the
game.
snow. What?
You weren't at the game.
No, I was watching the game actually while doing homework.
Did you see me?
I did actually.
Oh, look at that.
I did. You know what I didn't see?
I got a rock.
I also got a rock.
I didn't get a rock. Maybe in 3 years.
I want a rock.
Did you actually get a rock?
Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have a gigantic rock. It's like
Mine is not that
All right,
large.
for you audio listeners, being all of you right now, he went like about the length of his torso, like,
Yeah.
across, and like
It's a good sized rock.
pretty large
Adam's
rock.
seen it.
Yes.
Adam's seen.
I've seen his rock.
All right, we got it. We got that off now. All right,
This has been the charting average on KCOU 88.1 FM.
We've got one show left, ladies and gentlemen.
One show left
Well,
on FM,
yeah.
and then we're taking this puppy into the air, or actually out of the air, technically, That's weird.
Into the great wide net.
into the internet. Interesting.
We'll
for
probably
John
fail.
Lieber.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. For John Lieber, for John Sansoni, for the state of Minnesota, my name is Adam Busak. Thank you for listening to the Chatting Average. We will catch you all same time, same place, one final time next week.